till 4 o'clock, and the sports professor is with us right now, and that is, of course, Rick Horrow. Rick, let me begin. I just want to make sure that are you safe in Florida, and people that you know, are they also okay in Florida after what took place?
Yeah, thanks for leading with that. I am on the southeast side of the state, which is the one piece that kind of didn't get it this time, although we got 40, 50-mile-an-hour winds, but not the life-threatening surges of Fort Myers and Tampa. The roof at Tropicana Field was ripped off, which was a sports angle of this. I'm actually hole up in Miami because my house area was flooded. And dog's safe, everybody's safe, but I'm flying to Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, and Istanbul to give a series of speeches starting tomorrow, and I figured I would hold up an extra day and fly out of Miami tomorrow morning. There may be other issues there, but certainly not hurricanes, so we're okay.
You know, it's interesting, and we're glad you're safe, Rick, because you see that back-to-back hurricanes coming through that state. It's just amazing. But when you watch that, now the sports obviously get put on hold. How much a lot of these sports landscape, obviously, look at Tropicana, you look at the NFL, Major League Baseball, look at the colleges. How much is that affected or put on hold, and how quickly can they get back to normal schedules?
It'll be interesting to see what happens. You know, this hurricane hit on a Wednesday night, which is the middle of the week. So I don't know what's going to happen with a lot of the weekend games. It'll be up to each individual team. I know that the Lightning left early to go to Carolina for their opener on the road to train and get out of town. And I know the Buccaneers left early because I think they were on the road too. Miami has a bye week, and Jacksonville, I think, is out of the storm cone. So, yeah, everybody's making their own individual decisions. The sports issue, again, is important. But the one thing that's highly visible is, the Rays cut a deal for a new stadium, and it probably couldn't happen a moment too soon. Kind of laughing a little bit about it, but the roof I thought was pretty sturdy when you think about it. This never happened before, and then you look in on drone, and you see the whole field, so the whole roof kind of ripped off.
Yeah, it's spectacular to see, and some of the footage coming off from Fort Myers through Tampa Bay, man, oh man, it was gut-wrenching. Take me to this, okay? Because the NCAA announced on Wednesday that the Division I Council had approved the immediate elimination of a national letter of intent. And now some of the athletic directors are talking about, well, how are we going to handle this now as the way that you see it? And the settlement by the NCAA at $2.78 billion, that's with a B, $1 billion, Rick. What's going to take place now in college football?
Ironically, I think the settlement may help the situation because, remember, over time, about 22% of those dollars are going to be set into a fund that the athletic director will administer and pay past, present, and future NIL money out of. So it gives the athletic directors a pot that has a kind of a standard feeling on it. But it's one of those deals where if you're going to require an athlete to participate in those dollars, then I would assume over time you're going to have a formal agreement, unlike the he said, she said that the UNLV quarterback had 3 weeks ago that caused some problems, and the same with the USC player that transferred, and say, look, we're going to agree that we're going to have signed deals. The athletic departments are going to acknowledge that. And part of the deal is, we're going to administer the NIL money, but we're responsible for making sure that you behave like a normal businessman with these contracts. And therefore, maybe the transfer portal isn't necessary in a sense that it may now be replaced by standard contracts. And everybody would have said, my God, contracts for football players, they're not pros. Well, they're more pros. They look more like pros every day.
Sure. Yeah, especially when you have a guy like Caleb Williams makes more money than Brock Purdy in his last year of college. That's when you kind of go, wait a second, this thing's out of control. Now, my next question, they're going to go back to 2016 with that lawsuit of former players wanting to get into the fold, so to speak. So it looks like they'll go back to 2016. I should have hired one Rick Horrow. Could we not go back to 1978 at least to allow some of us that were having our jerseys sold? Well, maybe. But, this 2016, how is that pot going to get divvied up when you think of all the college football players these last 8 years and what kind of criteria you're going to have to how much they're going to pay them?
Yeah, I got 2 points in absolute order of importance. Number one is you couldn't pay me enough to argue that your athletic ability should justify 1 penny of NIL. That's an entirely different story. That's A. B is you have to make an arbitrary decision some point, and 2016 may not be the right answer. It's 8 years. Well, why shouldn't it be 10 or 12? In fact, Terrell Pryor filed a suit against Ohio State and the conference, the Big Ten, as well as Learfield Sports, claiming that athletes who did their stuff in 2010, 2012 should be eligible. And, the court will probably respect the settlement and say you got to draw a line somewhere. But it is right. How you divide up a pot of money when you decide to kind of create it is maybe the same way. I know I'm asking you to go back to a dark day that you probably didn't know. But did any of you go to like history or geography classes?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
I'm a whiz at history.
Social studies, history, all the above.
Why? So who were the idiots that sat down and during the Louisiana Purchase said, hey, it ought to go from the Pacific Ocean, or how about this one? How about Rand McNally? You know where I'm going with that.
Yes.
When he drew the map and said, all right, let's put California in the ACC. What stupid idea is that?
Tell us how you really feel, Rick.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
By the way, speaking of that, how about the University of Miami the last 2 weeks in their comebacks? Man. I was at Virginia Tech game, which was just an incredible. And I was on the sideline of Virginia Tech. I mean, you've just seen that. You could have seen it ghost. Either way, the call was gonna just kill one side. And then Miami's that was an unbelievable comeback that happened 2:30 in the morning here. I know you guys are used to that everywhere, but I was, us old guys, I was sound asleep. I turned it off in disgust. And then I woke up the next morning and said, you got to be kidding me. My internet machine must have not been fed. So I, shook it a couple of times, and that was right.
That's why you got to stay up, dude, and watch college football late night.
I understand.
Yeah.
I understand that. That's why the Pac-12, became the Pac-2, and that's why your ratings were 0.0000004. That's why.
That's only on the East Coast, not on the West Coast. Yes.
Right. Yeah. I don't know if you knew this again, but there are more people living on the East Coast than the West Coast.
I'm well aware of that.
Mr. Geography teacher Rick Horrow.
And it's like they don't even know anything exists on the other side of the Mississippi.
I give away free maps and parking spots. All these guys are utterly capable of doing it.
Thank you, Mr. McNally.
There you go. Hey, before we let you run, the Minnesota Twins in Major League Baseball, apparently they're going to hire an investment banking company to explore a possibility of selling the franchise. Wouldn't they just sell that themselves? Why would you hire somebody to do that?
Because everybody does that by deciding what the high value is that they ought to ask for. But more important than that, it's an auction. Usually, if a sale is done with a close friend of Polad's, friend of somebody else's, you hire a couple of lawyers who pay for the transaction. This may be an auction that's disguised as a let's see what the value is. And if I heard a large investment bank tell me that a value is X, I'm going to be more prone to listen to that than, you guys telling me the value of that.
I understand perfectly. Yeah, I get that.
Exactly. Good. Do you have any other stupid? Look.
No, I wasn't a stupid question. I was just, it's Major League Baseball.
You have any other stupid questions you got for me? What else do you want?
I'm asking stupid. What's your handicap these days?
Oh, it depends on who I'm playing.
Do you still have your black side?
Actually, it's 16, so I'm coming out, and by then it'll be 27. Just remember, it's 16.
Okay, I got you.
Well, you have a safe trip. Can we track you down abroad like that? What are you, 10 hours ahead of us?
I mean, try to text me, and it's 1-800-4AT.
Be safe, mi amigo.
All right, man. Bye.
See ya. That's Rick Horrow, everybody, the sports professor. And he's been presented by Twin Peaks and the fantastic Tailgating Sweepstakes. It's all powered by Blue Moon and Coors Light for football season. That's it. Right now, just text Peaks to 59925. That's 59925, and you have a chance to win an amazing grand prize, including a Traeger grill and Blackstone griddle. Once again, just text Peaks to 59925. Standard message, data rates apply. And, of course, make Twin Peaks your place to watch an unforgettable football season. And there is an NFL game tonight, the 49ers and Seahawks in Seattle. When we come back, Week 7 college football, we're going to get into some of the biggest games and talk about the top 25 as well.